Santiago, get down to the cellar.
I hear the police at my neighbor's house.
Havana police, please come out.
I know we're in trouble, but our house that was built by some guys who just wanted shelter isn't very threatening, so the police don't come over.
Santiago, you can come back up. The police are gone.
I go upstairs to the sight of my mom crying. I think back to the good old days when we used to go to parties every day. We used to talk to friends all the time. First came the protests where people and police were everywhere. Then came the police searching, and we all felt violated. We were never safe. We've heard the horror stories of what the government will do if they get to us, and we'll do everything we can to keep that from happening. Mom, we should go to America. We could go on a boat like everyone else.
Santiago, I've been waiting to tell you, but we're leaving with the Rodriguezes in 2 weeks. They've already built a boat. It's going to be tough, but I think we can handle it.
As we started to pack, reality hit me. I was leaving the only place I ever knew, but I also knew it's what we had to do. Our family bags had been filled up and we were ready to go. Our planning meetings with the Rodriguezes were done and we just had to execute the plan. We got to the beach at midnight, the ocean looking like a black hole, and we put the rickety boat in the water, and off we went. The old boat got off to a bad start. We hit the first wave and there's already water in the boat. We developed a system of 2 people steering and the others using buckets to dump water out. Then we'd take shifts sleeping so other people could help.
Just 5 miles to go, but this is the hardest part. Watch out for big boats, they'll send us back. We timed it so we got to the end in the middle of the night. I know you're all hungry, but it will be worth it in the end. I see land just a bit ahead.
We were so close and we kicked up the paddling a notch when we saw a Coast Guard boat in the distance. It was scary, but we made it to a place called Key West. From there, we took a car with an extended family member all the way to Miami. We were welcomed by our fellow Cubans in what was called Little Havana. But after feeling sharp things hitting my face on my first day there, and turning around to see rocks headed my way, I knew the friendliness wasn't shared by all. My mom and dad were met with the same reaction outside of our community. My dad went from being a doctor to a janitor at a local supermarket, and my mom went from being a teacher to a maid at a hotel. None of us could speak English, and all of us were constantly being harassed because of it. I knew that I wouldn't be able to learn anything at school without learning English, and my parents knew they'd never get a good job without learning the language. We couldn't afford a tutor, so we went to our neighbors for lessons. My mom and I struggled, but my dad learned quickly. He was able to put sentences together and soon got promoted to cashier. It wasn't much, but it was definitely better. My mom and I could say short phrases, but we still struggled a lot socially. School was still a nightmare. I felt alone, and I might not be able to understand what kids were saying to me, but I knew it wasn't nice. One night, I finally started getting it, and I was excited. I took off from there, constantly trying to learn. I was a smart kid back in Cuba, and I finally started learning and getting good grades in school. I made friends, and kids started asking me questions, and I had someone to sit with at lunch other than the Cuban kids. My mom also was able to leave her job as a maid and get a waitressing job. My dad wasn't a doctor like he was in Cuba, but he got a job as a physical therapist. Our life finally became what I'd heard it would be like here in America. I'm now 25, and as a 13-year-old, this was a very tough experience. I ended up going to Miami University, and I'm now a doctor like my dad was. I experienced bullying and harassment for many years of my life here, and I would like to tell you to do anything you can to prevent that from happening to other kids. It's traumatic for a kid to experience such cruelty and often leads to a path of drugs and trouble. I spend any time I can to help immigrants, and it is important for other people to lend out the helping hand that so many kids need.
In the U.S., the biggest challenge an immigrant will face is learning English. Without English, it's hard and almost impossible to get a job here, especially one with an adequate wage. If we set up programs to help immigrants learn English and learn a trade, the issues faced by immigrants will become much less significant. Immigrants need jobs in order to thrive here in the United States. This isn't going to happen out of the blue, and we need your help to make these programs a reality. make a difference, and help out a person in need.